Hello student, welcome back to again another video, that is Physiology of Digestion Part 9, Absorption. I am Dr. Aruna Chakravarti, Associate Professor of Zoology, Government Dungar College, Bikaner. Absorption. This is the process by which digested food substances pass through the wall of some organs of the alimentary canal into the blood and lymph capillaries for circulation around the body. It takes place primarily within the small intestine. The mechanical and digestive processes have one goal: to convert food into molecules small enough to be absorbed by the epithelial cell of the intestinal villi. The absorptive capacity of alimentary canal is almost endless. Each day, the alimentary canal processes up to 10 liters of food, liquid and gastrointestinal secretion, yet less than 1 liter enters the large intestine. Almost all ingested food, 80% of electrolytes and 90% of water are absorbed in the small intestine. Although the entire small intestine is involved in the absorption of water and lipids, most absorption of carbohydrates and proteins occurs in the jejunum. Bile salt and vitamin B12 are absorbed in the terminal ileum by the time chyme passes from the ileum into the large intestine. It is essentially indigestible food residue, mainly plant fiber like cellulose, some water, and millions of bacteria. Absorption can occur through five mechanisms: active transport, passive diffusion, facilitated diffusion, co-transport, that is secondary active transport, and endocytosis. Active transport refers to the movement of a substance across a cell membrane going from an area of lower concentration to an area of higher concentration up the concentration gradient. In this type of transport, proteins within the cell membrane act as pumps using cellular energy ATP to move the substances. Passive diffusion refers to the movement of substances from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration, while facilitated diffusion refers to the movement of substances from an area of higher to an area of lower concentration using a carrier protein in the cell membrane. Co-transport uses the movement of one molecule through the membrane from higher to lower concentration to power the movement of another from lower to higher. Finally, endocytosis is a transportation process in which the cell membrane engulfs materials. It requires energy, generally in the form of ATP. Because the cell's plasma membrane is made up of hydrophobic phospholipids, water-soluble nutrients must use transport molecules embedded in the membrane to enter cell. Moreover, substances cannot pass between the epithelial cells of the intestinal mucosa because these cells are bound together by tight junctions. Thus, substances can only enter blood capillaries by passing through the apical surface of epithelial cells and into the interstitial fluid. Water-soluble nutrients enter the capillary blood in the villi and travel to the liver via the hepatic portal vein. In contrast to the water-soluble nutrients, lipid-soluble nutrients can diffuse through the plasma membrane. Once inside the cell, they are packaged for transport via the base of the cell and then enter the lacteals of the villi to be transported by lymphatic vessels to the systemic circulation via the thoracic duct. The absorption of most nutrients through the mucosa of the intestinal villi requires active transport fueled by ATP. Carbohydrate absorption. All carbohydrates are absorbed in the form of monosaccharides. The small intestine is highly efficient at this absorbing monosaccharides at an estimated rate of 120 gram per hour. All normally digested dietary carbohydrates are absorbed, indigestible fibers are eliminated in the feces. The monosaccharide glucose and galactose are transported into the epithelial cells by common protein carriers via secondary active transport, that is co-transport with sodium ion. The monosaccharide leave these cells via facilitated diffusion and enter the capillaries through intercellular cleft. The monosaccharide fructose, which is in fruits, is absorbed and transported by facilitated diffusion alone. The monosaccharides combine with the transport protein immediately after the disaccharides are broken down. Now, protein absorption. Active transport mechanism, primarily in the duodenum and jejunum, absorb most protein as their breakdown products amino acids. Almost all 95 to 98% protein is digested and absorbed in the small intestine. The type of carrier that transport an amino acid varies. Most carriers are linked to the active transport of sodium. Short chain of 2 amino acid, that is dipeptides, or 3 amino acid, that is tripeptides, are also transported actively. However, after they enter the absorptive epithelial cell, they are broken down into their amino acids before leaving the cell and entering the capillary blood via diffusion. Now, nucleic acid absorption. The products of nucleic acid digestion, pentose sugar, nitrogenous bases, and phosphate ion, are transported by carrier across the villus epithelium via active transport. This product then enter the bloodstream. Lipid absorption. About 95% of lipids are absorbed in the small intestine. Bile salts also essential to the absorption of the end product of lipid digestion. Fatty acids are relatively water soluble and can enter the absorptive cell enterocytes directly. Hydrophobic fatty acids enable them to be absorbed by enterocytes via simple diffusion and then take the same path as monosaccharide and amino acid into the blood capillary of a villus. The large and hydrophobic long chain fatty acid and monoacylglycerides are not so easily suspended in the watery intestinal chyme. However, bile salt and lecithin resolve this issue by enclosing them in a micelle, which is a tiny sphere with polar hydrophilic ends facing the watery environment, and hydrophobic tail turns to the interior, creating a receptive environment for the long chain fatty acid. The core also includes cholesterol and fat soluble vitamins. Without micelle, lipids would sit on the surface of chyme and never come in contact with the absorptive surface of the epithelial cells. Micelle can easily squeeze between microvilli and get very near the luminal cell surface. At this point, lipid substances exit the micelle and are absorbed via simple diffusion. The free fatty acids and monoacylglycerides that enter the epithelial cells are reincorporated into triglycerides. The triglycerides are mixed with phospholipids and cholesterol and surrounded with a protein coat. This new complex, called a chylomicron, is a water-soluble lipoprotein. After being processed by the Golgi apparatus, chylomicron are released from the cell. Too big to pass through the basement membranes of blood capillaries, chylomicron instead enter the large pores of lacteals. The lacteals come together to form the lymphatic vessels. The chylomicrons are transported in the lymphatic vessels and empty through the thoracic duct into the subclavian vein of the circulatory system. Once in the bloodstream, the enzyme lipoprotein lipase break down the triglycerides of the chylomicrons into free fatty acids and glycerol. This breakdown product then pass through the capillary wall to be used for energy by cells or stored in the adipose tissue as fat. Liver cells combine the remaining chylomicron remnant with proteins, forming lipoproteins that transport cholesterol in the blood. Vitamin absorption. The small intestine absorbs the vitamins that occur naturally in food and supplements. Fat-soluble vitamin A, D, E and K are absorbed along with dietary lipids in micelle via simple diffusion. This is why you are advised to eat some fatty food when you take fat-soluble vitamin supplements. Most water-soluble vitamin, including most B vitamin and vitamin C, also are absorbed by simple diffusion. An exception is vitamin B12, which is very large molecule. Intrinsic factor secreted in the stomach binds to vitamin B12, preventing its digestion and creating a complex that binds to mucosal receptors in the terminal ileum, where it is taken up by endocytosis. Now, water absorption. Each day, about 9 liters of fluid enter the small intestine. About 2 to 3 liters are ingested in foods and beverage, and then rest is from gastrointestinal secretion. About 90% of this water is absorbed in the small intestine. Water absorption is driven by the concentration gradient of the water. The concentration of water is higher in chyme than it is in epithelial cell. Thus, water moves down its concentration gradient from the chyme into cells. As noted earlier, much of the remaining water is then absorbed in the colon. Mineral absorption. The electrolytes absorbed by the small intestine are from both gastrointestinal secretion and ingested food. Since electrolytes dissociate into ions in water, most are absorbed via active transport throughout the entire small intestine. During absorption, co-transport mechanism result in the accumulation of sodium ion inside the cells, whereas antiport mechanism reduce the potassium ion concentration inside the cell. To restore the sodium potassium gradient across the cell membrane, a sodium potassium pump requiring ATP pumps sodium out and potassium in. In general, all minerals that enter the intestine are absorbed, whether you need them or not. Iron and calcium are exceptions. They are absorbed in the duodenum in amount that meet the body's current requirement. Iron. The ionic iron needed for the production of hemoglobin is absorbed into mucosal cells via active transport. Once inside mucosal cell, ionic iron bind to the protein ferritin, creating iron ferritin complex that store iron until needed. When the body has enough iron, most of the stored iron is lost. when worn out epithelial cells slough off. When the body needs iron because, for example, it is lost during acute and chronic bleeding. There is increased uptake of iron from the intestine and accelerated release of iron into the bloodstream. Since women experience significant iron loss during menstruation, they have around 4 times as many iron transport protein in their intestinal epithelial cells as do men. Calcium. Blood level of ionic calcium determine the absorption of dietary calcium. When blood level of ionic calcium drop, parathyroid hormone secreted by the parathyroid gland stimulates the release of calcium ion from bone matrices and increase the reabsorption of calcium by the kidney. Parathyroid hormone also upregulates the activation of vitamin D in the kidney, which then facilitates intestinal calcium ion absorption. So, thank you, student. Thank you very much.